Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Malika and I'm an expat and travel content creator, and I've been living in Beirut for almost a year now. I was planning to do a Lebanon life update for a while since I have not posted a Lebanon blog since my husband and I moved here last summer. So this is a little overdue, but here I am. It just took me some time to kind of, gather my thoughts on this topic and what I wanted to say, what I wanted to share about life here, because as much as I love it, I love this place, life here is definitely not always easy. There have been a lot of adjustments. There are a lot of things that are just heartbreaking to watch, especially as I'm making a lot more Lebanese friends and getting closer to people here and just kind of witnessing everything that they're going through in this country. So if you aren't familiar with Lebanon, I honestly have to say it would be one of the best places in the world, like hands down best place in the world, if the country weren't suffering the crisis that's happening now. Like, everything here is just incredible. The food, the beaches, the parties, the mountains, the culture, the people, everything has just consistently blown my mind since I moved here. I remember when I lived in Milan almost 10 years ago, and a lot of my fashionable, wealthy friends, people I knew, would always go to Lebanon in the summer. That was just the thing to do if you were someone who kind of ran in the right circles. And they would talk about how incredible it was, how it was the best vacation, how they would never go anywhere else. It was just amazing. And I was in grad school. I could never really afford to go then, but I was always curious and had romanticized Lebanon in my mind just because of the way people used to talk about it. It was this bucket list, dream destination, best vacations, and there's just no place like Lebanon. So when we had the opportunity to move here, I kind of remembered the reputation and how it was the ultimate cool kid place to go. And it was just still a very romantic fantasy in my head. And even though I knew the current situation was very, very different, and things had changed a lot in 10 years since 2011, 2012 when I would hear about it, moving here just still felt like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We just couldn't say no. So we packed up our bags and here we are. And after spending time here and getting to experience Lebanon, I can say 100% that it does live up to the hype, and I hope that it'll be able to get back to how it was before all this happened, the Lebanon glory days, because I just cannot say enough how amazing this place is. There's truly no place like Lebanon, and I am so happy I've been able to experience it, and I'm just so lucky I've been able to see at least a fraction of what this country has to offer. A lot of people have been saying things this year will get better or they might get worse, especially as we're getting closer to elections. No one knows what's gonna happen, but for now it just feels like the crisis is just getting deeper. And so in preparation for moving here, I'd been observing Lebanese news and social media and kind of meeting locals and talking to them since maybe 2020, early mid 2020. And it just feels like it's crisis after crisis. So between the economic meltdown, the port explosion in 2020, COVID, of course, having no electricity, people were forced to rely on generators for power, and that can be outlandishly expensive in an economy like this. And then there were fuel shortages, which are also linked to electricity issues because all the generators are fuel powered. And then even now with the war in Ukraine, there potentially could be food crises because Lebanon imports a lot of its wheat from Ukraine. So they anticipate bread shortages happening in the future. Infant mortality is on the rise. A lot of babies are dying just because of the lack of availability of just basic medical care. And the banks have already basically collapsed, but even that situation somehow seems to be getting worse. There are all kinds of lawsuits, protests, robberies, but they aren't even really robberies because it's just people trying to take out their money. It's actually their money that's stuck in these banks, but they're not allowed to withdraw it. Some people are just getting so desperate to escape that they'll do anything. It was on the news this week that a boat capsized sailing from Tripoli. I think 6 or 7 people died just trying to get their chances and trying to do anything they could to get out. So things could go from bad to worse in the next few months, but hopefully that doesn't happen. We just kind of in a place of feeling like we need to be prepared for anything and everything. And a lot of you guys that follow me on Instagram or TikTok ask me about the safety, is Lebanon safe? Are you guys okay? How are you managing? And yes, we are okay. But the fact is I'm aware that my experience as an American expat is not really reflective of the experience of the average Lebanese person. So I do know, I'm aware that I have a lot of privilege and I'm largely protected from a lot of the economic issues here because my salary is based in US dollars. It's not based in the Lebanese lira. And the currency situation here is a very complicated one that I can't even adequately explain in this video, but I will link some videos from other creators and articles in the description box if you want to learn more about it. But the other mind-boggling thing about the crisis that I just did not expect from moving here is how extreme the income inequality is. You can see everything that you guys see on the news about food shortages, people suffering, people not having any basic resources, having no power, and then go out to clubs and restaurants where everyone has a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. I've been to places where the cheapest car outside is a G-Wagon and everyone inside is wearing a Rolex. The women are wearing like head to toe designer looks, like just everything like straight off the runway at Paris Fashion Week. Like the drip is just, it's unbelievable. It's like living here, like there's like two Lebanons. Like you can live here, you can have it all, or you can have absolutely nothing. And for the people who have nothing, life can just be just devastating. Even like the World Happiness Report just came out, and Lebanon was ranked like second to last, I believe, like the bottom of the list. I'll leave that article in the description box as well if you want to read it, but it was like right next to Afghanistan in terms of overall happiness here. So that kind of says a lot. So I'm really not even sure how much longer we'll stay here. That's another thing I get asked a lot. I think a lot of it depends on how things evolve this summer. We still love life here. We definitely plan to stay here until the end of summer, like early fall. After that, we'll just kind of have to see how things go. Just have to see what happens and take it day by day. But in the meantime, we're continuing to be safe. We're continuing to just fall in love with the culture here. We're hoping for the best for Lebanon and for the Lebanese people. And that's just really us just trying to be good neighbors as best as we can. So that's it for now. Just please continue to keep Lebanon in your thoughts. And if you like this video, want me to do more about like a day-to-day life here, let me know in the comments. And I will try to post more Lebanon vlogs while I'm still here. I really do think the world needs to see more about how amazing this place is. And I do want to try to show like more of the positives and like the beauty about Lebanon, like not just the stuff you see on the news that's all about the sadness and the sorrow and the devastation. Like it's just such a wonderful place. You should be able to see it. And I'm also going to work on an FAQ video about just like general stuff about life here. So if you want that, let me know. And definitely check out some of my other videos. If you like them, if you think they're helpful, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.